The first thing that I like to do is put the last name and the first name of the student. That way you can also alphabetize them if you prefer. So we can have Jones, or and then first name we can make up and say Johnny Jones. In this case, we have Johnny Jones as having multiple disabilities. Some kids I like to know if if I'm their case manager, so I say the main disability is TVI, or vision actually, vision. I like to put their grade, how many indirect minutes, how many direct minutes they have. The case manager, sometimes I'm not the case manager, so say the disability is technically under speech. That means the speech teacher is the case manager, and so I would have to write down the speech teacher's name. The location is very important, where are these kids located at. When I make my student list, I like to make all of my kids at that same school in one location. So we could say normal elementary school, and say that the next school might be kinder, elementary. Sometimes I like to color code even that. You don't have to. I'm just saying if you want to, and you can color code this according to schools. This is how I usually organize my student list. Over here is where you have like other related services. So sometimes if you have a student that has multiple disabilities, a lot of times they have other related services such as occupational therapy, physical therapy, speech, orientation, mobility. And of course, if they have you, the vision teacher. It's also important if they're ESOL, especially if you're their main case manager, for testing and making sure that you mark that correctly on their IEP. Here in our school district, we like to have a due date. For me, I like to put the ideal time for a meeting. So if I know that it's due in March, I might say December, look at making that meeting. Or actually, if it's due in March, I'd probably do it in January, just to keep ahead of everything. For reevaluations, in our district we call them RR2s, but you know, that 3-year evaluation, I like to keep that in mind. So this is all a quick reference. And yeah, I think that's it. So then once you fill this up, you'll just have a quick reference sheet of who your students are, what grades, indirect minutes, direct minutes, who their case managers are, so you can easily email them, what other related services are, so you can collaborate with other people who have that student on their caseload, and you can keep track of your IEP dates. And then when you start making your schedule and building it, this is nice because then you can just start free-flowing right here and making sure that, you know, Tuesdays at 8:45 and Wednesdays at 8:45 for Johnny. Johnny will get these services. And this will help keep your, actually, we'll start building your schedule in the very beginning of the year.
Now, as you are using this template, you may want to customize in a couple different ways. So you already saw how you can color code individual cells. If you want to change the whole column to a different color, you can click the letter above the column and click that paint bucket tool. So you could change that to a different color there. So use that to customize. If you only service a few schools and you prefer to make a drop-down menu instead of having to type the school every time, you can click on the cell, and then when you go to data validation, or the data tab, then go to data validation, you're able to create a list, and you want to do a list of items. So you could type the name of all your schools here and then hit save. If you'd like to enter that data validation into multiple cells at once, you can highlight all those cells, then go up to your Data tab, pick Data Validation, and repeat that same process, choosing List of Items, typing in all of your schools, just separated by a comma, and hitting Save when you're done. And then all of these cells will have that drop-down option. So that'll help you customize and speed up your process. One other thing that you can do, if you have a column that you need to add that isn't already on the template, wherever you'd like that column to go, you can just right-click on the letter of the column, and then you can say Insert One Left or Insert One Right. So you can place your new column wherever you want, and then you can color code it using that paint bucket to suit your needs. If you have any trouble where you start typing and you notice that your cell does not fit, like all your text does not fit into your cell, just click on your cell, or you can click the whole column all at once to highlight it, and use this icon for text wrapping to select this middle icon, which will wrap your text, and that'll help your cells expand as you input more text.